Hello, my name is Melissa Kahn, and I run the Career Services Office in the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences at NC State University. Thanks for viewing this presentation on how you as a parent or family member can help support your students' career development in college. I can't predict all of the challenges or obstacles that your son or daughter will encounter at NC State, but I can tell you about some of the common ones related to their career choices in hopes that you can be prepared for certain conversations and know how to help if they do come up. I want to start by walking through the types of issues that students often experience at each stage of their college career. So let's start first with the freshman year. It is very common for Cal's students to start out very motivated. They are excited to start college and want to start making their career plans happen right from the beginning. And I love their enthusiasm, but it is important that they don't overlook some of the adjustment issues that they might be facing. During their first semester, we want them to get settled and get a good academic foundation started. The good news is that the things that they need to do to be successful in college are also the things that first-year students should do to start working towards their career plans. We want students to get good grades, utilize resources, join a couple of clubs, and connect with people like their academic advisor and students with similar career interests. Getting good grades is the foundation to building a good resume, and the people that they meet on campus will be the start of their professional network. Try not to pressure them too much about graduate school during their first semester or even first year. They don't need to worry about finding an internship just yet. It's okay, of course, to ask about their major and the thoughts that they have about their careers, but remember that they don't need to commit to something just yet. When it does come time to pick classes for the spring semester, it is common for students to shift their attention towards their major and evaluate if it's still a good fit. For those who are uncertain, they may feel additional anxiety because they think that they are the only student who doesn't know what they want to do after graduation. Everyone is different, but I can tell you that it is very common for students to question their career plans at some point or another during college. They just don't do it all at the same time, and they also don't like to talk about it with their friends. This is a great reason to send them to Cal's Career Services, though. We will help them explore different options and show them how they can continue to use our resources throughout college. Those that are sure about their career plans can begin to consider alternatives and create backup plans. We encourage all of our students to have at least one backup plan in case their first choice doesn't work out, they change their mind later, or decide that they want to delay graduate school. This proactive approach eliminates a lot of the stress associated with changing paths. Moving on to the sophomore year, I actually think that more of our students change their minds about their career plans during their second year than they do the first year. If that happens with your son or daughter, don't overreact and just send the message that it is okay to change their mind. Be sure to have conversations about other alternatives that they might want to consider. During their first year, we want students to explore activities and try out a lot of new things, but during their second year, they can start to focus more on the activities that are the most meaningful to them. It is more important that they have a few really quality experiences rather than a longer list of involvements that didn't really teach them anything. We are definitely shooting for quality over quantity here. Thinking about internships, sophomore year is a great time to begin that process. Some, but not all, companies require that students have completed their sophomore level courses before they can do an internship. So the summer between the sophomore and junior year of college are great times to actually get involved in the first internship. We encourage students to research options in the fall so that they know what companies they might want to work with and that they are prepared to start sending out applications when they return for the spring semester. There are some exceptions to this, but many deadlines will start to come up in January and run all the way through April. So there will be some companies that accept applications during the fall semester, but students should be pretty well aware of those. If they are going to be doing an internship after this year, they may need clothes that are more appropriate for professional settings, depending on the internship that they're doing. It can be expensive to build this part of your wardrobe all at once, but accumulating even a couple of business casual outfits at this point will go a long way. As we move into the junior year, reality definitely starts to hit for a lot of students. You'll start to hear and have some more concrete conversations about career plans with students. Graduation is no longer this far off event that will never actually happen, and that can actually cause some panic in students. If they are considering graduate school, then they do need to think through the application timeline here. If they plan to continue on immediately after college, then they may be submitting their application as early as the summer after their junior year, although most applications are due during that fall semester during their senior year. Many students will take the GRE or whatever entrance exam they need for their program towards the end of their junior year in order to give them enough time to retake the test if needed. When I think about the challenges of the senior year, the thing that comes to mind first is the unrealistic expectations that a lot of college students have about the job search. Many of them grossly underestimate the amount of time it will take to move through the hiring process, which, by the way, is about 3 to 6 months on average. They also underestimate the amount of time it will take them to prepare resumes and cover letters and to prepare for interviews and even just to search for positions in order they can apply for. So they will want to factor that into their final semester schedule to make sure that they have enough time to balance everything. They are also surprised at the number of positions that they need to apply for and that they aren't called for an interview even when the position seems to be the quote-unquote perfect job for them. This is often the first time that many of them experience this kind of rejection. And we know that nobody is interviewed for every job that they apply for, and we certainly aren't offered every job that we interview for. So it's helpful if you can tell them about some of your own experiences with job search and the lessons that you learned along the way. That will just help normalize the experience for them and they'll feel a little bit better about it. If you think that your son or daughter is putting off their job search, talk to them and try to understand what's really going on rather than just nagging them about putting resumes together or finding jobs to apply for. Often students put it off because they aren't sure how to go about it. If they are having a hard time, then you can always refer them to our office and we can help them put a plan together. I have a couple of other pieces of advice. Throughout college and especially at the beginning, talk with your son or daughter about the long-term consequences of some of their personal and social choices. Even things that we generally consider to be quote-unquote youthful indiscretions can limit career opportunities later, and unfortunately we live in a time when so much is documented on the internet. Employers and graduate schools will search for candidates online and look at their social media profiles. And it isn't just party pictures either that they're concerned about. It's the way he or she represents themselves, the language that's used, or even sarcastic comments that may be taken out of context years later. Students really need to think about who might be looking at that information later and obviously assume that somebody is going to. I know that you are used to being their primary go-to person for questions, but don't feel like you have to have all the answers. The best way that you can support your son or daughter is to help them figure out what the right questions are and to teach them how to find the answers on their own. It shouldn't be your responsibility to call our office to schedule an appointment for your student or to communicate with employers on behalf of your son or daughter. It's great to help coach them ahead of time so that they feel more confident, but they can make those calls on their own. One of the things that I encourage students to start doing early on is to learn more about the common paths taken with their major to make sure that they match up with their expectations. It is great to have conversations about what he or she is learning, but remind them that they are the ones that ultimately will have to do the work to earn extra degrees or to get up and go to work every day, figure out how to pay bills and balance career with the other important pieces of their life, not you, because you already do that, right? Help them think through things like what are the pros and cons of going to graduate or professional school. Let them do the research, but have conversations with them about what it means. Another important thing that a lot of students have a hard time with is understanding what kind of lifestyle a certain salary could afford. So they may not feel like they need to make a lot of money, but they still don't really understand what kind of lifestyle they can afford with $35,000 a year and how that might be different from $45,000 or $55,000 a year. Additionally, help them understand that their first job probably isn't the job that they'll have forever. It's just a starting point. That means it might not be exactly what they want right away in terms of responsibilities, location, or salary, but it's important to look at where that job will lead. The important thing is that they take ownership of this decision. When confronted with tough choices, they may defer to you because that is what is comfortable. Try to help them work through the decision without telling them what to do. Just to run through a couple of additional resources, we have a lot of information on our website to help students learn about majors and career options, as well as how to write a professional resume, prepare for an interview, find an internship or job, and many other career-related topics. For those students who want to apply to vet school or a human health-related professional program, Health Professions Advising Center and the Veterinary Professions Advising Center will be wonderful resources for them as well. Thanks so much for listening today. I'm excited to work with your students and see where they end up over the next few years.